Guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to look at pivot in Microsoft Excel. So pivot is very important when it comes to formation or when it comes to you generating or creating an interactive dashboard in Microsoft Excel. If you don't know how to do pivoting, the creation of interactive dashboard in Excel will become a nightmare. So we have a data which is a farmer data. We have it has information in terms of the name, the location, the gender, the age, and other things like the training and the date. So for you to start with doing the pivot, you go to insert, and then you can use this one, but this one is going to give you the recommended, and then you will proceed to the field of pivot. So you click this, and then you are told to select the range. So I'm going to select this range, and then I want the results of a window, or the window that we're going to use to go into a new worksheet. So this is the how it appears when you click that. So you can also rename here the pivot to be the name that you want, and then now this is the pivot field that you're going to use. So this is the labels or the variables that you have in your data sets, and then you can click to see more tables. So this is the field that we are going to use when we want to do calculation, or when we want to generate a table in the pivot. So we have the filters, we have the columns, we have the rows, and then we have the values. So let's start. We're going to look at the total number of people in a county. So you drag the county here, and then the farmer ID here, and then we want to count, so it's correct. But in case it had picked something like sum, we could have come here, click there, and then a value field, and then we change. If it was sum, we change to count. So, and then you click OK. So, and then we have our table here, and now it's not, we need to change, it's not called a row labels, but it's the county. And then here also, to read very well, we say then the total number of farmers. And then when you're done with that, you can change. You can come to design, and then you change it to be this color. You can also have do not show subtotal if you had subtotals, and then you can also show the you can remove. You can show all subtotals at the bottom the group if we had a subtotal. You can also say you off for rows and columns. You can also have for for rows only, and then you can go back and click this to have all of it. And then in terms of the report layout, you can also have it in a tabular. You can also have repeated all items. You can also insert a blank line after each item, and then you can remove the headers if you don't want. So that's all about formatting now the table that you have generated in pivot. So I want to generate another, I want to do another table. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. So I want to look at the number of people who are trained, who attended the training. So that in a county. So I'm going to remove this, and then I bring attended training. So we have, so I don't want to have it as count but total. I want to have it as total number of farmers attended the training. Then the county will remain that. So I want also to look at the number of farmers who say that they received the seeds. So I want to remove this, and then so I'm going to change this to be the total number, the total number farmers receive seeds. Click OK. And then I want us to look at the total yield by county. We can avoid the total yield, but we can look at the average yield by county. So instead of sum, let's change to average, and then we have that. So we have average yield obtained. So they are almost, the highest average is in Nakuru. So also I want to see the minimum yield by county. So instead of having it as total, I'm going to bring the yield here, the quantity. And instead of sum, I don't want sum. I want the, let's look at the maximum first, and then maximum. So for Kakamega County, we had the maximum yield as 70, Machako 60, Nakuru 60, and then we also have Trans Nzoia 55. So you can still use this one instead of maximum. So now we can have the minimum. Sorry for that. So we have the minimum. So the minimum was 0 because we recorded. When you look at our data, where is our data? Where is our data? So we have those which were recorded as 0. So let's go back to now. We can also change instead of minimum, we have it as the sum in each and every county. So the total or the sum of the yields in Kakamega was 245. We had for Machakos 205, like that. And then so you can do as many as possible. You can also look at apart from count, you can look at the standard deviation. So we can change and look at the standard deviation like that. So in terms of also, we can also go back and age and look at the ages. So we can bring the age here, not some, but we're going to have the maximum. So we want to see the maximum or the elder people in each and every county like that. So this is how you can do pivoting. So you just select, you pick and you drop. And then also you can have you can insert a slicer. You can insert a slicer. So you can insert a slicer of county and gender. This one will help you to filter in case you want to filter this data. So you can insert a filter. So if I say Machakos, I'm going to have that. So this one is only filtered alone. So I'm going to show you how to connect so that all the because when you were filtering, it was only filtering the one that we used to create the slicer. So you report the connection so that when you click filter, it is going to filter all of them. Same case with here, you report the connections for all the tables that you have, so that when you click a filter, it is going to be acted upon on all the tables that you have in your pivot. So let's look at Kakamega. So for Kakamega, you can look at within all the tables that you had generated, Kakamega is filtered. So you can remove filters from here. We can also look at in terms of the female. You can also look at in terms of the male. And then you can remove the filters, and then you have all the figures. So for the filter also, you can change the design to be the color that you want. And then the other time I was doing right clicking to get the connection, but also you can have the connection here. And then the other we can go back to now our pivot analysis. Also you can have the filter connection here. So in case you have changed the data and then you want the data that you have inputted, which is new, to be reflected in your data set, you need to click here to refresh. So in case I had data, you click here to refresh, get the latest data from the source, and then you can get the latest data sets by refreshing all sources in the workbook. So that's how you can refresh the data. Also, you can change the data source. Also, you can clear. Also, you can select. Also, you can move the table. Also, if you don't want to have this filter field, you can click that and then it disappeared. So if you want to bring it back, you click it here. So that's how you can do pivoting in Microsoft Excel.